Good morning, Rotarians and friends. Thank you for coming this morning. I really enjoy seeing this in-person group get bigger each week. It's really great to see some smiling faces. And thank you, Zoomers, for being here this morning as well. We appreciate everybody who's signed on. We've got some basic introductions this morning. Any visiting Rotarians today? None in the room. How about Rotaract and or Interact members today? Any on the Zoom side of things? If you are, go ahead and unmute. Just speak right up. No, Maggie says no. Any guests of Rotarians? I know we have some here.
President Ian, I have with me my friend Peggy Metzger from Humboldt State University. She works for financial aid department.
I'm sorry.
Very good.
I'm sorry. Well,
Jessica has Peggy Metzger from Cal Poly Humboldt. And with my apology, I'll make a, sorry, Jessica. So if you got something to say, we do have a remote audience here. I'm just going to have you run right up and do that. So any other guests of Rotarians? Dustin, please, yeah, come on up. Sorry, I know your biggest bug is.
Hannah Golden, she's coming here to visit the club today and check us out, and she's an accountant. So give her a round of applause.
Hi, Rebecca.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
I brought my daughter Mary.
Mary's here. And then Gabe, we have our presenter here, and he has some of his co-presenters coming a little bit later, and we'll introduce you formally at that point. Thank you for being here. Hi, Sophie. Oh, yes. Not a guest anymore, a proposed new Rotarian. So we do see your name circulating to the club for comment and review, and the process has finally begun. So.
Yeah, this is Robin Jensen. She's a palliative NOSAT resolution.
Robin Jensen's here as well. We received a thank you note from the Humboldt County Office of Education. If you remember back in, I think it was December-ish, that our club jumped over there and packed up some books, and they just sent a note to say we really appreciated us helping them get that together. So wanted to share that. And then somebody, I can't remember who, sent me a note that the Arcata Chamber has an auction running for a while now, but it ends tonight at 8. And I kind of cruised their website. They got some pretty nice items for pretty great values. So I imagine those will kind of hype up toward the end, but support our chamber and check out their auction. It's on arcadachamber.com. Ends tonight at 8. We have a lot of save the dates. Many great things coming up. We got our board meeting on the 15th. A quick show of hands. You know, our board each month considers what's going on in our community with COVID, and we'll be again considering: are we hybrid? Are we in person? Are we masked when we're not eating? So, real quick show of hands for the folks in the room that I can see. What's the consensus right now on whether we wear the mask when we're not eating? Would people prefer to move on from that, or are we still comfortable with let's insist on that with our club?
Yeah. Have you required people to come in meetings with vaccination?
We've asked it. So we have asked that anybody attending is fully vaccinated. It is, by the 4-way test on your honor. We haven't been checking cards, but yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway, your board will be considering it. If you have any thoughts or comments you'd like to share privately with the board, meetings are on the 15th, every third Tuesday of the month. District Training Assembly is coming right up. Everybody who's signed up as a Rotarian should have received a link from the district to click and sign up for district training. Just so you know, our club sponsors the $50 registration fee for anybody in our club who wants to attend. That comes out of our club operational account. It's not community funds. And so we really encourage any Rotarian, new or long-term to please sign up and attend. There's so much to learn about everything Rotary beyond our club. Hi, Romy. We hear you. So please do watch for that link. You should have received it this week, and get signed up. We'd love to have a strong showing from Rotary of Arcata Sunrise. Volunteers are asked for the Redwood Poetry Fest. Dylan Collins of Word Humboldt spoke last week and said, we think we're getting this going. Well, he called me yesterday and said it's on. So we'll watch for a sign-up genius from them to volunteer. It could be a lot of fun and very engaging in our community. Vanessa's Firesides. Vanessa, we're on for the
Second.
the second.
At the Griffin.
Okay.
And then watch also for survey. If you don't want to attend the person, I can't.
So Vanessa's going to host her Firesides on May 2nd at the Griffin, and watch for a sign up. Amanda.
Carol has a quick announcement that is saved today.
Hi, Carol. Go ahead.
Hi there. I just wanted to remind folks that our Adopt a Highway is scheduled for the 19th, Saturday, a week from this Saturday, out at the Humboldt Coastal Nature Center. We have typically done it at 10, but I'm going to ask folks to come early because it's actually a practice tsunami drill. And there's going to be the out for the whole peninsula. So you are actually going to be in the perfect spot if you come between 9:30, quarter to 10 to walk up to the tsunami evacuation site right up by the nature center, get a little information, understand what's going on in our area, and then we head out to the highway. If we come too late at 10 o'clock, there will be sirens and sheriff going up and down the highway earlier just to, give an alarm, and we don't want to slow you down getting out there. So come 9:30, quarter to 10 on the 19th and do the Adopt a Highway and help out with.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And, when you said tsunami evacuation preparation, it makes me nervous just thinking about it. So it's a good thing to prepare for, right?
Yes, yes.
Jessica, if I didn't catch you chewing, would you come up and just say a little bit about our upcoming fellowship event, if you don't mind?
We have set the date for our charter event. It will happen May 7th at Redwood Park in the afternoon. Look forward to seeing you all there. Also, just as a reminder, what the charter event is a celebration of our annual birth. It's sort of our annual birthday party, celebrating when we were chartered, and it's been 20, 31 years. Yes. 30 years. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, the fellowship committee's been working on that in the background, and we're excited to actually have a celebration this year for our 30th. So look forward to seeing you all there. We also have our Sunrise Summer Scramble fundraiser coming up. We have the official date. It is May 13th, Friday the 13th. So be thinking about Rebecca. I don't know if you have anything to say about that. You mentioned we're looking for Friday the 13th themed ideas for
maybe Friday the 13th ideas like a black cat hole or like under the ladder challenge or global climate jam.
Jason's water trap. Okay. And then last but not least, district conference coming up with our illustrious DG Dustin, and we're looking forward to that.
I'm also looking for some pictures. I don't know what other slides you have, but I'm putting together a presentation for our DEI committee to bring out to other groups. And I lifted what I could from Facebook, but I'm interested if you've got like nice, I don't want like 1,000 photos, but if you could email me 1 or 2 photos from recent events, or if we've got a storage location.
Okay, so we're searching for recent event photos. If you send them to Rebecca directly. Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. Up next, being the forgetful person I am, as Angela will tell you this morning, I forget birthdays. I ask my mom as well. That's the sore spot in my family. But one of my best friends here, Jeff, had a birthday, and Maggie, one of my great mentors in the club, had a birthday. So, Jeff, if you want to come up for just a moment and tell us what did you do for your birthday?
Yeah, phone waiting for your phone.
Oh, yeah, I sat by the phone all day long. Thank you, Greg. No, for my birthday, I had COVID. So I stayed at home and I did absolutely nothing. I think I was sweating out the fever. So, yep, that was it. So,
Very nice.
for next year.
What are you gonna do to like make up for it? You don't have to just hold your birthday today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, normally I take myself on a ski trip in February, but that passed. So I think I was just going home.
You'll figure something out. Maggie, how about you? I know we've got a slide coming up very shortly here to tell a little bit more, but what'd you do for yourself for your birthday?
Oh, boy, that was so long ago. Well,
I'm sorry.
No, it's not on you. It's just how time flies. I went out to dinner with my sister and my niece, and we went and sat in a dark room in Ferndale, in the room where, if you remember the movie Outbreak, it was the theater in Ferndale where outbreaks, the plague spread in that movie. But we went and saw a nice play, and it was COVID safe, and we had a good time. And and I think I did other things too, but that was probably the diciest thing I did. So that was pretty exciting.
Maggie, was that Noises Off that you saw?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was a lot of fun.
It was Noises Off, and one of the people in the play went to university with my sister back in Boston. So it was kind of a strange thing to have him here, but yeah, it was fun.
I enjoyed it too. That was a great play. And Ray, I don't know if I saw Ray on the call. You see Ray there, Maggie?
I don't.
No. Okay. Well, I hope he had a great birthday. We've got that summer scramble, sunrise scramble coming up. It is an event on our Facebook page, our club Facebook page, and it's also a flag on our Instagram. So it is time to start liking, sharing, and inviting people to that. For Facebook events, if you're not familiar with how they work, in order to get visibility, if you click on it and share, then it'll give you your list of contacts in Facebook, and you can do that. Dick looks like he has something to say about that. Thank you.
I do. I have something to say about that. Thank you. No, I want to say, anytime you see RCAS on social media, like it, love it, whatever you want to do, but react to it, because that generates more people seeing our names out there. I was really pleased to see the golf tournament show up so much on my feed earlier this week. But do that. When you see the Sunrise Spirit on there, like it. Even if you don't, go, I know it violates the 4-way test, but please say like anyway. So, but anything that we do, that's going to generate more talk buzz for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Dick. We appreciate it. And then we do have a district and Rotary International wide funding campaign going right now for aid to Ukraine. There's a couple ways our club is getting the funds there, either through Venmo at Rotary Club-Arcata Sunrise, or you can go on the web to the Rotary.org Disaster Relief Fund. Our funds will channel through our World Community Service Committee to the district, to Rotary International. And it sounds like a lot, but it takes just a moment for the funds to go through. So thank you, everybody who's participated so far. And if you're able, please do join in that effort. Youth Exchange, thank you. Robin, AJ, thank you so much for making us whole. I know it's a tentative commitment, AJ, because you got news of your own at some point to share, but we did it. So a couple of weeks ago, I got my trusty Youth Exchange sweatshirt here that I wore for about 8 years to all the orientations for our outbound kids. And I signed up last week for Eureka because I live south of Eureka to host. So I'm looking forward to hosting with Robin's parents as first families. It'll be a lot of fun to get out in the community. And it's really cool to see our community. We were just talking about it through new eyes and watch the jaws drop and the wonder at this beautiful place that we all live. So thank you for helping get us. It's not done until, we have our families vetted. And also there's other clubs in the area. So keep talking to people, it's an ongoing need for all clubs. And if you know somebody that lives in Humboldt, there will be a place for them to be a host family. So thank you for getting that done. From our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, we have had a book drive going on. We'd like a quick update on that. And then Maggie, I know for your birthday, you helped with a event over at McKinneyville High, Success in Both Worlds. So anybody from DEI that would like to speak about where we're at with our book drive? Romy, did you have an update?
Sure. I actually requested those funds. I know people were super generous. I know Maggie and Craig gave when they had their winnings from the Super Bowl, and Ian put up 100 and matched it, and a whole bunch of people said, yeah, I'll add something to match to that. So I requested the exact amount from Venmo and other ways. I don't have that yet. I believe it's somewhere in the $500 or $600 range, which is wonderful. We will be purchasing, as we did last year, a beautiful lineup of books that just celebrate kids of color, people of color, and diversify the libraries so that kids see themselves and see those who are not at all like them. And so it's really a wonderful way to add to the educational experience, to diversify our school libraries and to enrich and expand the education of the kids in our community. Yes, Maggie is awesome. For her birthday fundraiser on Facebook, she raised $600, and that goes to the Success in Both Worlds conference, which will happen actually next year. It goes every other year, but this is just terrific for them to start planning and know that they've already got a base to get going. Maggie, you want to say something about that?
Sure. Yeah, I'm really excited that that worked out, and I am hoping to have them come a little later and tell us about that project. I think it's a really important project for local Indigenous youth to put together something that helps them learn more and share more about their heritage and maintain their the cultural practices that are so important to the local tribes. So it was my privilege to do that. And thank you everyone who participated.
And then our committee just met, and one thing that we're looking at is really doing outreach to find partners with diverse nonprofits all over the area. So we've built a beautiful list of a really inclusive list of different organizations that we could try to partner with, and we're working on actually kind of like people come to talk to our club. We're looking to go out and talk to other organizations, and Rebecca put together a quick PowerPoint that sort of mimics the brochure that Maggie and Barbara worked on, and we're working. Holly's working on the verbiage for a little invite. So we'll send a list of these organizations that it might be wonderful for us to partner with to expand our reach of service out into the community to more diverse areas, and we'll ask you if you're affiliated with any of those, because of course, if we've got folks that are parts of those different organizations, we'd love for you to be the contact who sends that little quick invite. It's not a big ask. It's just saying, we do service in our community. We would love to partner with diverse organizations who are also doing incredible service in our community. So it's a fun way to get ourselves just out there and seek new partnerships and new collaborations.
Thank you, Romy. We appreciate the update. Thanks for everybody who's donated. Rebecca.
So it's not really a save the date, but we also partner, or I work in, or so does Romy, with the Equity Arcata Home Away from Home program. So I will have a slide next week, but just to put it in your head, they're doing one of their outreach events to the students on March 27th. So essentially we go and get them some meals, and then we also get them like a goodies bag. So we'll be asking for donations for the goodies bag. We're doing one on March 27th, and then we're going to be doing one on May 8th. And then we're also planning for how do we welcome the students when they come in the fall, so that the students really feel like they're a part of the community. So we'll be looking for donations of like gift cards and then household items like bath and stuff. And then also just food, like, students are hungry and things like that. So expect that. I'll have a slide for you next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca.
Just a follow-up on that. That started because Equity Arcata did surveys of students, especially students of color, who said that they didn't always feel welcome in our community. They were followed in stores. They had people say negative things to them when they went off campus. And Equity Arcata said, we need to tackle that. We need to make sure that these students know that when they arrive in this community, they are welcome and we are glad they're here. And so Home Away from Home began as a way for our community to say just that. We're glad you're here. It used to be potlucks, but of course, COVID didn't allow for that. So now we give them a meal and a bag of stuff and a wonderful message of just our community is thankful you're here. You are welcome here, and we appreciate you. So help us communicate that message to the students who arrive here to know that they're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. That's what happens at Pets should not and does not stay at Pets. Joyce, you wanted to do this as a recognition, and I'm sure you'll have a welcome audience here. So, what kind of dogs did you pick up at Pets, Vanessa? Is that you have Golden Doodle? Okay. No, really. Here's the actual recognition.
All right. Yeah. You had to a little stall there to get the real pictures up. So I want to thank Vanessa for sending a recognition. I've been reaching out to folks mostly on birthdays and anniversaries to send me things, but now that we're in person, I'm going to do a harder press because we have been strangers to each other for a very long time and we need to reconnect. So I'm going to do those things. But so this is the first one, and you'll see what fun that is. Dustin was there as well, doing his governor's thing. We're really well represented there, and so I just want to add, and the other part I want to say is, remember, we're supposed to clap as Rotarians after every good thing we hear. So anyway, everybody clap. Vanessa and Terry and Dustin up if they'd like to say anything about Pets.
It's one of those Rotary acronyms, so we're hoping that Vanessa will tell us what is actually Pets and why did she go?
What do they have in common? What do those folks have?
We like furry animals. So Pets is a president-elect training seminar, Friday through Sunday. We have jam-packed 7:45 a.m. to 8:30, 9:30 at night, and then the party started. Speakers and breakout sessions, learning about what Imagine Rotary, next year's theme, is and what that means to both me as a facilitator and you guys as leaders. I learned that this club is amazing, and thanks to Maggie and to Ian for keeping us incredibly engaged through COVID. People were really impressed with how much we participate in person and online, and really I was able just to share a lot about how great this club is. And I'm excited for what's to come next. So, thanks.
Excellent. Wow. Marty, did you have anything to add other than the best smile in the whole club?
I hadn't been to Pets in 8 years, but before that I'd been there 17 years. Not in a row. I missed 99. It was great to be. I wasn't invited. It was great to be back. I instructed 3 classes. Everything at Pets is different than it used to be. The curriculum is different, but it was still really wonderful to be there. And Vanessa's totally right. Our club is amazing, and it's good to have that reinforced sometimes. And we got to meet the woman in the top there, the 2 Jennifers. Jennifer Jones on the left is the first woman to be president of Rotary International starting July 1st. And Jennifer Strong, the other happy woman, is our district governor starting July 1st, Dustin's successor. It's amazing, and we'll talk more about Jennifer Jones in the future because she really is awesome. And I want to I'm going to explain the logo to you, the one that's on the pin later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. we have come to, if we're ready over there, raffle time. Are we doing raffle today?
Yes.
Yes, there we are. Why not?
Want to grab a ticket over there, please? Sure. That's this one. Grab. You can read the last 3 to 4 numbers. Yeah, it's just 3 numbers. Yeah, 274.
274.
Right here.
Go great. $5.
$282.
Searching.
It's
This choice. Okay, up next, I would like to introduce our featured speakers today. If you've had enough breakfast and are ready. Maggie, go ahead. I think you'd like to make the introduction.
That's correct, I would. Thank you. So I want to introduce our 3 speakers who are students at HSU or Cal Poly, and they have done an amazing job with the work they're doing, and it is so incredibly important. I've met with them, and we had Valentina come and speak to our staff, and I'm just really impressed by their dedication and their talent and their passion for this project. And I felt like it was a really important thing for our club to be able to see and hear from these amazing young people. So I will turn it back over to them, and I just want to tell them how much I really appreciate their work. Thank you.
Yes, I should say good morning and hi, Maggie. I know it's good to see you over Zoom again. And very quickly, I think the first thing that I'd like to get off my chest, I'm glad that you noticed our passion, and that's the one thing that has kept, I think, all of us going throughout this whole project, which started in 2020. As with anything that we do or that you guys do, follow that passion, because it'll take you like really far. It took us way farther than any of us thought we would go. Yeah. So I'm Valentina. I'm executive producer, and sometimes I'm the person holding the camera. This is Skylar. She's the editor who put together the first episode, which I think some of you may have seen or viewed. And then Gabe is the director, and he's the one with the crazy idea in the beginning who said, hey, you want to do a doc? And we were like, okay, sure. We've never done anything like this before, but let's do it. So yeah, that's us. And homeless in Humboldt, these people matter. Just I guess one of the main goals is to humanize our homeless neighbors. So often do we walk past them and maybe not have the sense or question whether, like, man, I wonder who that person was before the situation that they got put in. So I hope the project kind of inspires people to question that a little bit more often.
Yeah, so I think it'd be cool to talk about how it all gets started. Yeah, so there's a project, I believe it's still ongoing. It's in collaboration with the Cal Poly Humboldt, I should say, library. It's called Humboldt in the Time of COVID-19 Archive Project. And what it is so I guess you guys know how 100 years ago there was a, there was the Spanish flu of 1918. And we have been looking back 100 years, later in like around the same time, and looking back at how people were surviving during that time in like the 1915 through 1920 era. the idea was that there would be an archive collection of photos, videos, art projects, you name it, things to show how Humboldt was living in the time of COVID, so that researchers 100 years in the future could look back at how we are surviving now, just like how we are doing with the Spanish flu, if that makes sense. So, so we originally set out to look at how Humboldt, or how homelessness and how homelessness and COVID kind of went hand in hand. And while we did find some correlation there, there wasn't enough to really like make a full-on project about it. So, but we did go out in the community and we did do the rounds, and we did we did talk to people. We went to like different homeless encampments, and we talked to people. We asked them like, you know, what do you think about how COVID may be affecting homelessness? And one of the things that we heard from them is that they said, well, you know, COVID is one of the last things that is on our minds when you consider everything else, like where to sleep at night, where they're going to get their food, you know, whether they're going to stay safe, or all these other things, physically, that is. And so, but now it's kind of shifted more toward just looking at homelessness in general in Humboldt. And my 2 cents, I know Valentina shared what she thinks, and what I think about this whole, you know, homelessness situation in Humboldt is, I know Humboldt is known for a few things, you know, the weed industry, obviously, but also homelessness. I hear people outside of Humboldt County saying, oh, aren't there like a lot of homeless people in Humboldt? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I think, you know, one of the phrases you guys probably saw in one of the first slides is these people matter. I really want to emphasize that, because I really feel like what makes, you know, we've been asked this before, you know, what makes Humboldt County special when it comes to the homelessness situation? Well, I mean, I think that these people, you know, I can't speak for other areas around the country, but I can certainly speak for Humboldt County. I've been here myself since August of 2017 when I came up here to college. But I feel like that these people really matter. These people have formed a community. It's really amazing, some of the stuff that we've seen them say, the kind words that they've talked about each other, and they really support each other. But I also think that there is there's a lack of resources up here, especially when it comes to healthcare. And we were going to address that in a later slide. In fact, we're doing an episode on a couple named Angela and William who have health problems. So one of the things we've been looking at is the intersectionality of healthcare and homelessness in Humboldt County. And as you guys, many of you are well aware of, there is a healthcare crisis in Humboldt County. There is a major shortage of healthcare practitioners. And so, yeah, so that's kind of what I think about this whole project. So.
Yeah, I would say this project has really changed a lot of, I guess not perspectives for me. Growing up in San Diego, I've seen homelessness all around me. And coming up here, it was not a different story. And I think that doing this project and really seeing how, you know, these individuals live, how they survive, has really like shown me like a new world. And editing the video, you know, you just want to show these people's story. Like we said, we were in the beginning thinking about doing COVID and homelessness as like in the same correlation, but actually listening to them, you really get, you know, you want to like show their story and not just have to like force COVID as a problem in their life, because for the most part, that's not what they're dealing with. So really editing the video, you just want to show their story and have that known. So, yeah.
And going off of what Skylar said, one of the things is that we've really tried to tell these people's stories carefully. We want to tell them in the way that they would want them to be told.
Yeah.
We don't want to exploit them. We don't want to do this or that. We really want to, like I said, tell their stories very carefully, and we want to be very mindful. Because a lot of these people are dealing with, you know, very sensitive. This is a very sensitive topic, as you guys know. And so we are, a lot of these people are, you know, escaping like domestic abuse and like other things like that. So we need to, you know, blur out whatever, we sometimes do that, but yeah, so one of the things that we really want to emphasize is that we really like to approach this in a very delicate way. We're not just going out there and just like mindlessly doing stuff. We really want to approach this cautiously.
Yeah, and I can't be, we can't be any more grateful for them because they have really just, it's really hard to have a camera shoved in your face every day. And I am just extremely grateful that these individuals that we have talked to have given us a year of their life and wanted to show us that, so. Yeah.
And if you see episode 1, which is the episode you guys watched, that's out now. Part 2 is coming soon. We're working on it.
Everyone looks at the editor.
It takes a while.
It really does. We underestimated the amount of time it takes to really put a story like this together, especially since you want to approach the storytelling so carefully and very thoughtfully. Every soundbite, every sentence, every shot, it's carefully put together.
Yeah.
And we had to totally redo the story several times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like Valentina said, it's a process for sure.
That's when that passion kind of kicks in.
Yeah.
In those long editing hour moments. And as you can see, episode 2, that'll be out as well. I think it's important to kind of note episode 2 focuses more on the relationship between our healthcare systems in this county and how it impacts homeless individuals, but even non-homeless individuals. They just feel the brunt of it first, and then it's going to come down to us. I'm sure most of us have already experienced really difficult healthcare issues or trying to find a provider, things like that. So I think if I continue, I might be rambling a little bit. I think that's about it.
Yeah, so episode 2 will be focused more on the healthcare side of things in Humboldt, and then from episode 1 with JP, for you guys that have seen it, there was a part 1 in that title. So part 2 of his story is continuing on. And though we did talk about drugs a little bit in the first episode, the second part is going to really go down to the actual, who are drug addicts, why are they, and really just delve into why people are doing drugs, because it is such a stressful situation to be in, and there's no really other escape except that. And so we kind of go more into depth about that.
Yeah, and yeah, so like Skylar was saying, episode 2 is about the intersectionality of healthcare and homelessness. But the couple you see, if you guys are wondering who that is on screen, their names are Angela and William Dixon. They are in their mid to late 50s, and they are a retired disabled couple. They, due to various accidents, they have become disabled, and they have been living out of their truck, as you guys can see in the left-hand most side of the screen. And it's not that they've just been living out of their truck. They literally have to sleep and live upright because they can't put the seats back because there's so much stuff in their truck. And it's just really unfortunate and really sad to see, because that obviously messes with blood flow circulation in their legs. So kind of going back to what Valentina and Skylar were talking about, just how much it can mess you up living that way when it comes to health, physical health, and also not to mention mental health, but mostly physical health. And so their episode will be coming out in a few months or so. But that episode is I'm very much looking forward to it, as with all the episodes, but this one definitely for sure, because these people, they give us a completely different perspective on homelessness, I would say. While JP is very he kind of just accepts it, Angela and William, they're very lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's really interesting seeing this differing attitudes toward the situation. So, yeah.
Would you like to field some questions?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Could you tell us what your individual field of study was before you started this project, and has this altered your course?
Absolutely. So I actually started out as a film major at Cal Poly Humboldt, but I became a journalism major a couple of years into my college career, because I realized that I feel like journalism was more my calling. So I graduated with a degree in journalism, I will graduate with a degree in journalism, and I feel that it has impacted my work, because it is really, I feel like, it all comes down to storytelling, because, one of the things that we've echoed a lot throughout our project is that, this presentation is that, these people, not only do these people matter, but we want to tell their stories, and we want to tell it in a very, it's kind of in a journalistic way, but, I think that is also, I guess I should say also with the fact that that I do have some background in film, that has allowed me to kind of look at it from a film perspective as well as a journalism perspective. So having those two married, really allows me to look at it from varying perspectives, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I started off as an environmental studies major, also switched to journalism because it was my calling, I guess. But I remember taking my first video production class, and I remember that was the only thing that I ever wanted to do. I love video editing. I love really sharing people's stories through video. It is a totally different way of storytelling. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. So as soon as I got on this project, I realized that I wanted to be a video editor once I graduate. So that is my path.
And I already graduated from Cal Poly Humboldt. I graduated in December. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies and a minor in journalism. I met these guys in my video production class, and it was the only class where I found, I was being taught a skill that I could use and across many different fields, whether that be like social justice issues for advocacy and nonprofits, or newspapers, anything like that. It just seemed like a practical thing to follow. And I'm a social butterfly. The project allows me to get out, talk to people, hear their stories. I'm a big storyteller. I'm a big fan of having stories told to me in a way that it's, animated, humorous, funny, or maybe sad, or melancholy. I enjoy the art of it. And I'm a videographer on the side, and maybe product photographer as well. I guess the project has inspired me to continue my course in media production, content creation, mostly for social justice issues. Yeah, that's where I'd like to keep my content creation.
I just want to say thank you for altering the way I view this situation.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and I'll say that I know Rachel isn't here, but Rachel also, who wasn't able to be with us today, she will be graduating with a degree in journalism, and I'm sure she would have said very similar things to what we've all said, but in terms of her question. But I would say that I really appreciated working with these people, and it's been an incredible experience, not only working with our subject matter, but also working as a crew. I think we work really well together as a crew, and I look forward to continuing to work with them.
Yeah, I always tell these guys, I'm like, teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, like you better stick with me, and I'll stick with you. Like that's the only way we're gonna continue on. As I'm sure most of you guys know, it's you'll go the distance with good people beside you. So that's been important.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to try to speak really loud so the people are online. I have a couple. I want to echo what Bob said, which is thank you for doing this. This is really really powerful. I watched that first episode with Jackie and Katie, and it was amazing. It really was amazing. I have two questions. One is, you kind of alluded to how long it takes to produce each episode. So I'd like to know that, but I'd also like to know how many episodes do you plan to produce? Is this going to be an ongoing thing? Or is it going to be something that outlives your college career?
Gotcha. So as the editor, as far as the process of the whole thing and filming, well, filming is one thing. Filming is probably, like we said, like a year of filming.
Year and a half. probably.
Yeah, a year and a half of filming. Like, we want to make sure that we are getting every possible thing that these individuals want to get out. So that does take time. It also takes time to, you know, set up a day to interview them or go out and talk with them. Sometimes, you know, plans change and we aren't able to see them that day, so we just reschedule. And so it's just like, we have to really, you know, take time to understand that they don't have a certain schedule. It's really up in the air. So we have to understand that. Filming is also another thing, about a year and a half of filming to make sure that we got everything. And then editing, editing can probably take at least about a couple of months, really. You know, and more of a, you know, we are, I guess, semi-professional group. In a more professional setting, I'm sure video editing, people would probably want their video done with like in a week or two. But you know, sometimes we don't have all of the content that we want. So speaking with the last episode, we were in the editing process, but as we were editing, we realized, oh, there's a hole here. We need to go back and talk to JP and talk to him again and see what he meant by this. So it really just depends. I think the first episode took like, goodness, we released it in December and we started in,
Took several months.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes several months to really get everything. Yeah.
You're also taking classes?
Yes. 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 Also full time. Yeah. Sometimes part-time jobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple more questions.
Good. This is a two-parter. One, what is the sort of preconceived notion that you had going in that changed the result? And is there a theme that you're seeing running among all the folks you talk to in terms of how they got to where they are?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what do you mean preconceived notion? Like,
Well, you went in with certain expectations about what you would find. I mean, yeah.
oh my goodness.
What
Man.
did you learn?
Yeah.
Personally, I came into the project pretty naively. I think that allowed me to not have an expectation for what I would find.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, a little bit of like impulsiveness, and I came into the project kind of naively, but I feel like that helped me continue on and just continue to ask questions, continue to try to find somebody that would stick with us and, you know, should be open enough to tell someone who told their story well, that would come off on camera and it'll resonate with the audience. Like I said earlier, we kind of fell down a rabbit hole. That's kind of what it felt like. I was like Alice in Wonderland. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And it turned out to be one of the best things I'd ever done. I was uninspired by some of my classes on campus. So when Gabe came to me with this project, I was just like, you know what? I need to do something different. Yes, let's do it. I will help you. Let's do it. So, and then your second question was,
Is there consistency among the folks that you interviewed, you know,
Yeah.
and how they got to the situation?
Well,
each individual gets into the situation that they're in differently.
Yeah.
Whether that be that they had an accident, they became disabled and they lost their job, and the timing just was terribly perfect and they found themselves in a homeless situation. There's that. On the other hand, there are individuals we've met that in childhood, they've experienced domestic abuse, sexual violence. Maybe they lived in poverty and they had to work multiple jobs and drop out of high school, and they just kind of never found themselves in a stable career field or amongst a group of people who maybe could inspire them on a different path. Each situation is different.
Yeah.
I would say that I think that to answer your question, like a common theme, I think that people are trying, like they're trying to improve their lives, whether it's to a big degree or a small degree, they're trying nonetheless.
They survive.
They're surviving. Yeah. You know, as you saw with JP, he is, you know, he does, as you saw, he does do drugs, and while he is in his predicament, and I don't know if any of you remember this specific line, he was saying, like, I kind of like brought myself into this situation. He's trying to improve. Whereas with Angela William, they're trying a lot more, and it's inspiring nonetheless to see people trying, but Angela William has a lot more drive, I would say, than JP. Unless
it's a different set of battles.
Yeah,
it's different
It really is.
Yeah.
And it all begins with how they ended up there, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Right, because it sounds like they went through a relatively normal existence. And
Yeah.
ended up where they are.
All right.
Yeah. And from what I can say for JP, and a lot of these individuals that we've seen, because we've also made it to Garberville, and I remember seeing that one guy that built himself a whole house with a stove in the forest.
And insulation.
Yeah, with
it's
insulation.
amazing. It's amazing.
Like he just built that by himself. Like with JP, with a lot of individuals that we have talked to, because JP, Angela, and Will, you know, these are only two sets of people that we have talked to, but like in the span of a year, but we have gone out and talked to other homeless individuals while getting B-roll, just asking around, and they have like stories to tell us. Like they see the camera, they're just like, oh, like I'll tell you something. Like, you know, it's kind of hit or miss with that. You either get like, oh, go away, or like, yeah, I'll talk to you. But what you can really see with these, like all these individuals, is that they are creative, they're builders. They really have like, they're intelligent, they really have a lot to show, and like people just don't realize that, because they don't have a home, they're not working, they should get jobs, and they don't realize that it is a vicious cycle. We will touch up on part 2 of JP's episode, that sober living, how people get into that, how difficult it is to get into that, especially with Humboldt having not so many resources.
And how easy it is for someone who's battling drug addiction to get kicked out if they slip up just once.
Yeah.
No other population in our society do we do that, where living is contingent on your sobriety. Imagine, we did an interview, and you'll see it in maybe part 2, but could you imagine a doctor telling a diabetic, oh, you just had sugar, I can't treat you? Yeah, we don't do that. We would think that that doctor's insane.
Yeah.
But for many inpatient drug rehabilitation centers, so often is it the model that, okay, we will house you and help you. If you mess up once, you're out. You know, that is not a model that is, it doesn't work. You're not there to help that person long term. It's an impossible standard expectation to place on someone who's battling drug addiction and has been battling drug addiction for like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I wanted to address, I believe, your question about like how long, like what our future plans are. I can speak for myself. I certainly, as the director, would like to, I mean, obviously, we're going to finish out these few episodes, but I am very interested in doing an episode on the indigenous communities in Humboldt, more specifically the Native Americans in Hoopa or in, on We Outland or wherever, just around Humboldt. I think getting that different perspective would be very interesting, and I would be very interested in doing an episode on that. And it's not to say that we haven't talked to them before. We actually went out to Hoopa, the reservation, and we talked to some people there. So that would be certainly one episode I would be very interested in. And if more comes, if we have more ideas in the line, then great. But certainly that episode, and as like Skylar and Valentina mentioned, episodes take a while to produce. So that would certainly be an episode I'd be very interested in doing.
All three of you, thank you so much for presenting. It's very clear to any of us who watched this first episode that your interests and your skills and your learned talents are definitely aiding in the telling of these important stories, and it really connected. It's a visual, audio story that it hits, and it's important. So thank you.
And can we mention the website really quick?
Please do. And I apologize, everybody, if you don't mind staying on. I know it's 8 o'clock. We've got one more thing to do. And some stories, you spent 1.5 years or more just telling this one 15-minute story. You can't rush some things. So thank you for hanging out a little longer. Yes, please mention the website.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite tall enough to do that switch at the moment.
No, it's okay. So we do have a website containing all the information related to our documentary, including files about us and more. That if any of you guys want to take note of it, I don't know if you could send out like the link to everybody.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Is it linked in your YouTube video?
It is linked.
Because we all have links to your YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, if you saw homelessinhumboldt.wordpress.com, that is the website. Okay. So that was it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
We will be making a donation in your name names to the Wheelchair Foundation that provides wheelchair access to people that could not otherwise afford it. So thank you for speaking today. We appreciate your time. Next, this is a surprise because my memory sucks. And Angela, I apologize. She emailed me this morning and said, okay, we're ready. I said, what? So Angela just got back from, you want to come on up and tell us what's going on? We've got a little Club Foundation auction this morning.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to Dublin with a friend, and when we were there, we went to a few distilleries and Guinness and so forth. And this was kind of in my mind when we did the Valentine's Day thing. So I have 3 auction items this morning. One is a bag with a bottle of Jameson's and some that the whiskey was purchased from Eureka Payments. There's some food items from the Irish shop in Eureka. And then Murphy's donated some corned beef. And there's the Guinness package is more of a breakfast package. So it has some eggs for my chickens and coffee and tea and Irish cream and so forth. So I did not talk to Brandon about being my auctioneer, but
it's okay. Do we have a auctioneer in the room? We'd like to get these 3 items going. Yay, Mom! Mom's back.
all right, we start out with breakfast. So I can tell you what the breakfast is. So I think Guinness is great for breakfast.
You hear that? Guinness is great for breakfast.
John's Cigars donated some Irish cream that they all really love. And tea and coffee, travel mugs, scones, some Irish.
We got some
All right,
Irish
great.
cream
And
some
everybody at
scones.
home, right? Can you raise your hands, wave at us here? You can bid on this stuff. All right. Breakfast with Guinness. Is there a $100 bid out there? Is there a $100 bid? Anybody in the room, $100? I'll go 50. How about $50? I have 50. Is there 75? I have 50. Somebody watching? I have $50 looking for 75. $50, Irish breakfast. You gotta get this little baked tomato things
Yeah.
too, right?
I was gonna do that.
And the blood sauce, oh, never mind. I've got 75. Is there $100 out there? $75 now, $75 in the room. Anybody at home?
Maggie would like to see the item.
We just told her what you were. I have 75, $75, looking for 100, $75 with AJ, 75, looking for 100, looking for 100. Joyce is 100. We've got a $100 bid, $100 bid. Is there anybody out there? 100 and a quarter, 125, got $100, $100, nobody at home, $100 going once, $100 going twice, sold, $100 to Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. There's only 3 items, you guys, you know?
Only 3, 2 more to go.
This money goes to the club foundation.
Correct. Yeah, this is for the Rotary Club of Arcata Sunrise Club Community Foundation.
Okay, this is got the brisket, it's got the carrots, it's got it's got a head of cabbage down there. So this is lunch or dinner, I would say. So what else do we have? Oh, a bunch of chocolates. Rogue and Co. Is that Irish whiskey?
Delicious Irish.
Is it? Did you have someone you were there?
I did.
Did you visit the distillery?
I did.
Whoa! First-hand knowledge. Another $100 opening bid, $100. $100 out there. I have $100. Is there 100 and a quarter? 125. We've got $100 here. 125 would be your next bid. Folks at home, come on. $100. $100 out there. Anybody at home? How about 110? Anybody want to go 110? 110. No? Okay, I've got $100. We are going to go once here. $100. AJ, twice. I think you made a good choice. Oh, 110 from Chris and Lisa. All right, AJ, 120. 120. I think you get scared. Why I got 120? I got 120, you guys. What's up there at the Hemp Hill house? 120, AJ. 120. Is there 130 out there? 130. We got 120. We're gonna go 120 once, 120 twice. Sold, AJ. I think you made a good choice. I like that. Row and go.
Last item.
Okay. All right, Hemp Hills, here we go. Very similar, they say. You could probably grab this for the opening bid of $100. Come on, let's see it. You know, type something in. Is there a $100 bid out there? I've got $100. Now we're at 100 and a quarter. My goodness, $100 bid. Last auction item of the day. Christopher, where are you? Come on, buddy. It's next week, the 17th. You can save it for your birthday in April too. All right.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'm trying to type this dang thing.
We can hear you. Go ahead and shout out.
Okay.
I've got 120 then. He just raised his own bid of 110 to 120 because I got 120. Have we got 130 out there? 130. Come on, it's getting late. We need to go. 120. 120 going once. 120 going twice. Thank you, Mr. Hemphill.
I don't know how I did that.
And Angela, thank you really so much for doing these impromptus.
And go to rock. My God.
Okay, as our parting thought today, in honor of our speakers, we've had food today, a home, and clean, warm clothing. Such fortunate folks. Thank you, everybody, for being here. See you all next week.